Unlock the hidden abundance of the universe, a transformational prayer for your soul's awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything, but that night, everything shifted. I woke up drenched in sweat, heart racing. The walls of my room felt like they were closing in, as if the universe was trying to crush me under the weight of my own doubts. Outside my window, the moon hung low and heavy, casting ghostly shadows across the floor. It was a night like no other, filled with whispers and shadows of something greater, something calling to me from beyond. I sat up, my chest tight with questions. Hadn't I done everything I was supposed to? Yet, there I was, standing at the edge of my own existence, searching for meaning. The world felt off-kilter, like a song missing its melody. I searched for answers in the silence, hoping the universe would throw me a lifeline. Each flicker of the candle flame on my bedside table felt like an echo of my own flickering hope. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath in, trying to summon the calm. The air was thick, like a fog of uncertainty twisting and turning around me. I remembered my grandmother's words about a prayer, a simple request to the universe for abundance, not just in wealth, but in love, joy, and healing. Images flooded my mind, fields of golden wheat swaying in a gentle breeze, birds soaring through a cerulean sky, laughter ringing out in a sunlit park. These images felt foreign and unattainable. What if they were just illusions, remnants of a life I could never lead? Suddenly, thunder rumbled outside, shaking me from my trance. A storm was brewing, and I felt it resonate in my bones. Nature was restless too, conspiring to show me something. Lightning tore through the sky, illuminating the shadows hiding in the corners of my heart. Deep fears rose within me, leaving a lump in my throat. What was the universe trying to say? I needed answers, and fast. The tension in my chest tightened like a noose. I opened my eyes, glued to the window as rain cascaded down, blurring my vision. In that split second, a flicker of hope blossomed. I realized perhaps the universe had not forgotten me after all, it was waiting for me to awaken. But how? Moments passed, and I felt lost. My thoughts echoed through the silence, asking what I had to do to unlock this hidden abundance. Beyond the window, something shifted in the trees, leaves rustling as if sharing secrets. I felt a pull, an undeniable urge to step outside, to greet the night with open hands and an open heart. But was it safe out there? What awaited me in the darkness? The phone buzzed on my bedside table, snapping me back to reality. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The rain continued to drum against the roof, a steady rhythm that matched the heartbeat of my uncertainty. I hesitated, glancing at the door that separated my comfort from the unknown. The storm felt like a metaphor for the tempest raging within me. With every drop that hit the ground, an answer seemed to linger just out of reach, teasing me to step into the chaos outside. That I grabbed my raincoat and slipped on my shoes, not to shield myself from the elements, but to prepare to confront them. Closing my eyes again, I allowed the sounds of the rain to wash over me, stripping away the layers of doubt that had built up around my spirit. With each step I took outside, the weight of expectation lifted, revealing a lighter version of myself, raw and untamed. The air was electric, tinged with earthy scents mingling towards the sky. I stood on the edge of my porch, watching the world transform. Water collected in pools, reflecting the flickering embers of lightning like stars struggling to break free from the clouds. It felt as though the universe had flipped a switch, revealing layers of existence I had previously overlooked. As I ventured deeper into the storm, a peculiar sight caught my eye. Amidst the downpour, a small figure darted through the rain, an old woman, cloaked in a tattered shawl, bent and weaving along the path. Her hair, wild and wispy, danced with the wind. Instinctively, I felt drawn to her, as if she embodied the wisdom I so desperately sought, child of the storm. She called out, her voice carrying through the storm like a beacon. Do you seek the abundance the universe offers? I approached, feeling strangely at home in her presence despite the chaos surrounding us. I do, but I don't know how. I pray, I hope, I dream, but the answers elude me. The old woman chuckled softly, her laughter mingling with the sound of rain. Abundance isn't simply given, it's realized in the way you connect to the tapestry of life. Open your heart and see beyond the veil of your own fears. The universe is full of signs, waiting for you to discover them. Her words sent ripples through me, evoking buried memories of moments where I had indeed found joy, beauty, and connection. But how do I find these signs? I asked, a mixture of desperation and curiosity weaving through my voice. That I in stillness, dear one, she replied, her eyes glimmering like the rain-soaked earth. In the quiet moments, when the world hushes its noise, and you turn inward, that is where you'll hear the whispers of the universe. It is through compassion to yourself and to others that the path becomes illuminated. Suddenly, I felt as if a door had opened within me, revealing a long-forgotten map leading to uncharted territories of the heart. Before I could express my gratitude, she raised a hand, and the storm swelled in intensity for a heartbeat. But beware, for the journey isn't simple. Shadows may rise against you, and uncertainty will test your resolve. I nodded, treading carefully through the weight of her warning. What if the shadows drown out the light? I asked, fear creeping back into my voice. Then you must be your own light, illuminating the path with courage and love, she said. Remember, even in darkness, there are stars that guide. Trust the process, and the universe will start revealing its hidden gifts. With that, she turned and continued along the path, her figure dissolving into the curtain of rain until she was gone. I remained standing in the storm, enveloped by the realization that the answers I sought were not in distant dreams but hidden in the depths of my own experience. Each raindrop felt like a piece of wisdom falling into place. As I began my walk back home, the storm shifting from violent to soothing, I pondered the woman's words. I couldn't shake the sense that this encounter was a significant sign. Yet, it wasn't merely the woman's wisdom that resonated, it was the silence that followed her departure, the newfound clarity that filled its void. But still, a question lingered in my mind: how do I nurture the light within me when surrounded by so much darkness? With the universe continuing to call, I realized that my journey had only just begun, and the signs were there, waiting to be decrypted in the spaces between thoughts and storms. As I stepped into the threshold of my home, I couldn't help but wonder what other signs lay on the horizon, waiting to illuminate my path. The next morning, the rain had ceased, leaving behind a fresh, invigorating fragrance that hung in the air like an unspoken promise. Sunlight streamed through the clouds, transforming droplets into a cascade of tiny jewels that sparkled on the leaves. The world outside my window glistened with newness, but the shadows from my encounter remained, their weight both grounding and unsettling. That I stepped outside, drawn toward the garden that had emerged reborn from the storm. The colors of the flowers seemed more vibrant, and the song of birds filled the air with a joyful melody, echoing the stirrings in my heart. I knelt beside a blooming wildflower, its delicate petals unfurling toward the sky, and felt a kinship with its audacity to bloom despite the tempest it had weathered. Perhaps this is what she meant, I whispered, brushing my fingertips against the soft petals. To embrace the beauty of growth, even in the aftermath of chaos. As I wandered further into the garden, an unusual sight caught my attention: not just the flowers but an intricate pattern traced through the earth. It seemed almost deliberate, perhaps a sign from the universe. I knelt closer, tracing the lines with my fingers. The shapes resembled a spiral, deep and inviting, reminiscent of the journey inward that the old woman had spoken of. Is this a path I am meant to follow? I wondered aloud, feeling the pulse of curiosity race through me. The spiral felt alive, as if it was continually unfolding and inviting me to dive deep into its secrets. Gaining my footing, I decided to explore the spiral path, allowing my intuition to guide me. Each step felt both deliberate and ethereal, as if I were stepping into a realm where the mundane brushed against the miraculous. The garden began to fade into a wooded area, and the trees loomed tall, their branches stretching toward the heavens. Suddenly, I heard a rustle in the underbrush. My heart quickened, both in anticipation and trepidation. Out of the thicket stepped a fox, its auburn fur vibrant against the earthy tones of the forest. Our eyes locked, and in that instant, I felt a surge of understanding pass between us, a connection both primal and profound. "Are you a messenger?" I asked the fox softly, half expecting a response. It tilted its head, as if considering my question with a wisdom that belied its playful demeanor. The fox stepped closer and circled around me, then darted off deeper into the woods. Compelled by an unexplainable desire to follow, I navigated through the trees, my pulse synchronizing with the rhythm of my footsteps on the soft earth. The fox led me to a quiet clearing bathed in bright sunlight. At the center stood a large, ancient oak tree, its expansive branches sheltering a gathering of creature squirrels, birds, and even a deer. They seemed drawn together by an invisible thread, a congregation of life celebrating the harmony of existence that I observed in awe, feeling the warmth of the sun on my skin and a sense of belonging washing over me. It was as if the universe had orchestrated this moment to remind me of my interconnectedness with all living things. Each being, no matter how small, played a part in the sacred web of life, yet even in this tranquil beauty, a new question arose within me: how do I fully participate in this tapestry when shadows of doubt and fear still linger in my heart? How do I share this abundance of spirit with the world while struggling to embrace it within myself? As I stood there, ruminating on my place in this collective existence, I caught the glint of sunlight filtering through the leaves of the oak tree. The dappled light danced on my skin, igniting something deep within, a promise that perhaps I too could contribute to the beauty and abundance around me. Even as I carried my shadows, with the fox watching from the edge of the clearing, I felt a surge of determination, to seek out not only the light but to embrace the shadows, acknowledging them as part of my journey rather than obstacles to be overcome. As I left the clearing, I wondered if each encounter, the old woman, the fox, and the creatures of the woods, was a reminder that the universe is indeed filled with signs and teachings. Yet still, a lingering question remained: how do I cultivate this newfound awareness and let the light within me shine through, even in the darkest of moments? I stepped back onto the spiral path, ready to explore where it might lead, eager to unlock more hidden abundance in the universe. As I retraced my steps along the spiral path, still buzzing with the warmth of the clearing sunlight, an unfamiliar sensation arose within me, a beckoning towards greater exploration. Curiosity sparked like a flame, guiding my feet deeper into the woods. Each footfall felt like a step into an ancient narrative, as if the forest whispered secrets through the rustling leaves. A rustle in the underbrush drew my attention again, but this time it was a rabbit, its bright eyes wide with caution. That I paused, watching its quick movements, and wondered, "What message do you carry?" The rabbit, embodying both vulnerability and alertness, seemed an embodiment of the balance I was seeking. In the interplay of stillness and movement, I recognized how life thrived in moments just like this, a delicate dance between safety and risk. Then, out of the corner of my eye, something shimmered among the roots of a nearby tree. I approached carefully, and my heart quickened as I uncovered a small, luminescent stone half buried in the earth. Its surface was smooth and cool to the touch, pulsating softly like a heartbeat. Instinctively, I felt drawn to it, as if it held whispers of wisdom waiting to be unraveled. Holding the stone in my palm, I felt a surge of energy coursing through me. It vibrated with a deep resonance, echoing the very questions I had been grappling with. Who was I in this vast tapestry? How could I awaken not only to my own potential but also to the abundance that life had to offer? As I pondered this, a gentle breeze weaved through the trees, and a chorus of songbirds filled the air. Their melodies merged into a symphony of liberation, lifting my spirit higher. I understood then that the stone represented more than mere beauty. It was a reminder of the inner spark we all possess, a connection to the universe's boundless energy of creation and possibility. With renewed resolve, I tucked the stone into my pocket, feeling it as a talisman of my journey. What other treasures and revelations awaited me if I continued to lean into this curiosity and openness? As I ventured further, the path twisted and turned, leading me to a brook. The water flowed with a clear babbling sound that resonated harmoniously with nature's orchestra. I knelt beside the brook, the gentle spray invigorating my senses. Pebbles glistened beneath the surface, and a few delicate wildflowers grew at its edge, their roots firmly anchored in the soil. There was something sacred about how they thrived in such a difficult environment that in this moment, I reflected on my own struggles and uncertainties. What if my roots, too, are meant to grow deep even in hardship? I mused, releasing a slow breath. The brook, undeterred by the jagged stones in its way, continued to flow effortlessly, pushing forward on its course. Feeling inspired by its relentless journey, I found peace in the understanding that abundance wasn't merely an absence of challenges but a coexistence with them. Each obstacle was an opportunity for growth, like the flowers flourishing by the brook's edge, yet still, deeper questions flickered in my mind, urging me onward. What does it mean to surrender fully to the flow of life? How can I blend my struggles and joys into a holistic experience of abundance? How do I find the courage to embrace the unknown that lies ahead? With these questions echoing in my heart, I rose to my feet, leaving the brook behind as I moved along the spiral path. The air shifted, growing heavier, and a soft mist began to envelop the surroundings. Each breath tasted of possibility, yet uncertainty loomed like shadows in the fog around me. As I ventured further into the mist, I felt the universe drawing me toward an inevitable revelation, one that could hold the key to unlocking even more of my soul's awakening. But with each step, I couldn't help but wonder, what new signs and teacher would I encounter next? What did the universe have in store for me as I continued this transformative journey? With the damp mist wrapping around me like an ethereal cloak, I pressed on, buoyed by a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. The trail ahead faded into a soft blur, leaving only the sound of my footsteps and the gentle rustle of leaves to accompany me. Each step felt weighted with the potential of discovery, teasing at the edges of understanding that in this unfamiliar atmosphere, the world seemed to pulse with an unseen rhythm. I felt more attuned to the whispers of nature, the sound of distant thunder, the rustling of branches in a gentle yet compelling breeze, and the occasional call of a far-off bird. It was as if the universe conspired to reveal something significant, as if I was on the verge of an awakening. Suddenly, the mist began to clear, unveiling a small glade bathed in grayish light. In the center stood an ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches arching gracefully toward the heavens. Its roots twisted deep into the earth, thriving amidst a tapestry of emerald moss. Transfixed by this majestic presence, I approached the tree, my heart thundering with a knowing that I was meant to be here. Now that as I reached the base of the oak, I noticed carvings etched into its bark, symbols and small pictographs that seemed to tell stories of centuries past. Each mark held a fragment of history, echoing the lives that had once dwelt in the embrace of this tree. I felt an instinctive pull to touch the rough surface, to connect with the wisdom it contained. Placing my palm against the bark, I closed my eyes, and in that stillness, the world around me faded away. Visions danced in my mind, flashes of people who had stood where I was, celebrating life, seeking guidance, or communing with the spirits of the forest. Intuition whispered to me that this tree had been a witness to countless souls embracing their journeys, each with questions, yearnings, and hopes. That in a heartbeat, the inner cacophony of my own thoughts quieted, and clarity began to blossom. What if this ancient oak represented not just the journey of those before me but also the depth of my own path? What were the roots of my existence, and how could I learn from both their strength and fragility? Opening my eyes, I marveled at the beauty of the oak, a symbol of endurance amidst the trials of time. How had it weathered storms, droughts, and seasons of change? I realized that like this tree, I too had the capacity to draw strength from my roots, anchoring myself in both the wisdom of the past and the promise of what lay ahead. In that moment of revelation, the breeze swirled around me, carrying the scent of earth and life, mirroring the solace and resolve that unfurled within my heart. I knelt down, pressing my forehead gently against the oak's trunk, feeling a sense of communion with nature, a deep gratitude swelling inside for the lessons I had received so far. Yet, as I stood up, an unsettling question clung to my mind like a dew-laden leaf. What does it mean to truly unlock the hidden abundance of the universe? Is it surrendering to the flow, or is it forging one's own path in tandem with the rhythm of creation? As I made my way back from the oak, aware of my heart expanding, I felt the undeniable pull of curiosity guiding me once more. What other signs lay hidden in this enchanted realm? How would my journey continue to unfold? and with what newfound courage would I approach the unanswered questions still whispering in the recesses of my spirit. I knew this chapter was only the beginning, and the call of the unknown beckoned me ever onward. The path shimmered beneath my feet, each step resonating with the newfound acknowledgement of my own journey. The air buzzed with anticipation, as though the forest itself recognized my shift in awareness. A soft mist hung around me once more, but this time it felt like a gentle embrace rather than a shroud. Instinctively, I began to walk deeper into the woods, the allure of the unknown a siren song I simply couldn't resist. The underbrush thickened, and the sounds of the forest grew more pronounced, a symphony of life echoing all around. I stumbled upon a small stream, its crystal-clear waters dancing over smooth stones, carving out a path where none was apparent. As I knelt to drink from the fresh flow, I caught sight of my reflection, a brief glimpse of my own soul mirrored back at me, shimmering with clarity. My heart swelled with an overwhelming sense of connection, as if I was part of an intricate web of existence that in that moment, I felt a stirring, a soft pull guiding my gaze upstream. Drawn by an unseen force, I followed the winding waterway, each bend revealing a new facet of the woods that enveloped me. The trees grew thicker, their trunks intertwined as if they were old friends holding hands. A sudden rustle caught my attention, a deer emerged from the thicket, pausing just a few paces away. Its gentle eyes met mine, filled with a knowing that transcended words. Time froze as we exchanged an acknowledgement, a shared heartbeat in the wilderness. Then, as if sensing a deeper understanding, the deer turned and gracefully bounded into the depths of the forest, leaving me with a stirring inquiry: how often did I allow the beauty of encounters to pass without recognizing the wisdom they offered? The world around me brimmed with signs, and yet here I stood, learning to tune in to the quiet messages that flitted just beyond the reach of my routine thoughts. Pressing on, I entered a small clearing, nearly a forest sanctuary wrapped in soft light. In the center, a stone circle stood, each rock arranged with intention, emanating an energy that hummed through the air. This felt sacred, a space where intentions were birthed and dreams were born. Kneeling amidst the stones, I recognized them as markers of the universe's benevolent signposts leading me toward deeper awareness. As I placed my hands upon a smooth, cool rock, a sensation of warmth surged through me, grounding me in the present. The wind picked up, and I could almost hear whispers carried by it, waves of gratitude from the very earth beneath me. I closed my eyes and spoke aloud my intentions, offering them to the infinity, a vibrant tapestry of hopes, fears, and desires flowing freely into the cosmos. When I opened my eyes, the world morphed around me. The trees seemed to lean a little closer, flowers swayed in a gentle rhythm, and the very essence of life embodied a profound intelligence. I pondered the question still brewing in my mind: what does it mean to unlock the hidden abundance of the universe? With newfound clarity, I realized it was not about acquiring but about becoming one with the world, merging desire with intent, and marrying dreams with action. Each moment offered an opportunity to align with the mysteries of existence, to dance with the universe's rhythm rather than try to dictate it. As I prepared to leave the stone circle, a sense of reverence filled me. I understood that my journey was not just to explore the forest, but also to delve into the inner sanctum of my own being. Yet, a lingering thought echoed within me: how do I discern the balance between receiving and actively seeking? Is it the act of surrendering that leads to abundance, or is it the moderated pursuit of one's passions? With these questions alive in my heart, I stepped away from the clearing, the forest whispering secrets around me. The promise of discovery lingered, and I felt the gentle tug of the unknown urging me onward into the heart of my quest. The forest deepened with each step, the light filtering through the canopy painted the ground with patches of gold and emerald. Shadows played at the edges of my vision, and I could not shake the feeling of being accompanied. Though I was alone, I was undeniably part of something larger, something breathing and vibrant. As I meandered forward, the underbrush gave way to an ancient path lined with moss-covered stones, each one worn smooth by countless journeys. I felt compelled to follow it, a compelling urge as if it had been laid down for me alone. The air shifted, growing cooler and rich with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a reminder of nature's cycle of life and rebirth. Suddenly, I heard a distant sound, soft, melodic. It was like the hum of 1,000 gentle voices weaving through the trees. Intrigued, I quickened my pace, each footfall echoing the rising cadence of the song. As I emerged from the thicket, I found a small pond nestled in a hollow, its surface perfectly still, reflecting the world above like glass, but the source of the music was now evident. A group of ethereal figures danced at the water's edge, their movements fluid and hypnotic. The scene was both captivating and surreal, as if time had surrendered its grasp. Flowers bloomed in vibrant hues around them, swaying in unison, and I felt woven into their rhythm, my soul resonating with the enchantment that enveloped the space. Overcome by an impulse, I approached the pond, and as I did, the figures turned towards me. Their eyes shimmered with infinite knowledge, and within their gaze lay uncharted wisdom waiting to be unlocked. One stepped forward, a woman clothed in petals and sunlight, her smile unfurling like the dawn. "Come," she beckoned softly. "Join us in this moment, for the water knows your heart's truth." As I hesitated, the thought of joining felt both exhilarating and daunting. What lay beyond the surface of my own reflections? Would I dare to dive deeper into my spirit? Stepping cautiously to the water's edge, I knelt. I peered into the pond, the world within beginning to swirl and shift. Images of my past, dreams unraveling like threads, floated before me. Each memory was accompanied by an emotion, a longing, a fear, a hope. Suddenly, clarity dawned upon me. These were not just my memories but also universal experiences, shared by many who had walked the earth. I was not isolated in my journey, I was part of a collective story. The enchanting figures resumed their dance, their movements becoming more vibrant, coaxing me to partake. I rose and surrendered to the current of the moment, allowing the music to guide me into a rhythm that felt inherent to my being. Together we moved, laughter intertwining with the haunting melody of the woods, grounding and elevating me in equal measure. Yet amidst the joy, a question rose like the moon from behind the clouds: what was the purpose of this encounter? I understood that these figures represented the fragmented parts of myself, harmonizing into wholeness through shared dance and allowing energy and creativity to flow freely. Spirals of connection were revealed, a reminder of how life circles back, interweaving our fates and stories. As the dance subsided and the figures faded back into the whispers of the wild, I felt an echo of stillness enfold me, the pond becoming a mirror once more. Reflections gazed back, not just of who I was, but of who I could become. Standing once again at the water's edge, I realized that to embrace the abundance of the universe was to embrace oneself fully, both shadow and light. Yet as I began to walk away from the pond, another poignant question arose, drawing me deeper into contemplation. To what extent do I embrace the dance of life around me, and how do I integrate that with the quieter introspection I often seek? Do I risk losing my footing in the swirl of connection, or can I find balance in both realms? With the forest sheltering my thoughts, I journeyed onward, the path ahead shimmering with possibilities, each step igniting a flame of curiosity and reverence for the mysteries yet to unfold. As I left the tranquil pond behind, the forest around me felt alive with energy, every leaf dancing in response to an unseen rhythm. My heart pounded, not just from the dance, but also from the vivid intermingling of awareness and introspection stirring within me. I was a curious traveler, both in the world outside and within the labyrinth of my own consciousness. Ahead, the ancient path wound through the trees, and as I walked, I noticed the vibrant flowers blooming in unexpected colors, violets swirling with yellows, blues bleeding into reds. I knelt to observe one nearby, its petals glistening with dew in the dappled sunlight. Something about its delicate beauty stirred a longing deep in my soul, a reminder of the untamed paths of creativity and passion I had yet to explore. I reached out and brushed my fingers against the silky petals. In that moment, a spark of inspiration flared brightly within me. Just then, a delicate breeze whipped through the branches, carrying the scent of blossoms intertwined with distant sounds of a gurgling stream, the two harmonizing, nature singing a symphony only the heart could fully decipher. Intrigued by this melody, I turned and followed the sound, eager to discover its source. With each step, the atmosphere thickened, a sense of anticipation crackling in the air. Eventually, I arrived at a lively stream, its waters running swiftly over smooth stones, creating a cacophony of joyful splashes. Here, the dance was different, dynamic and ever-moving, a metaphor for life's incessant flow. The stream radiated vibrancy, and I felt drawn to sit by its edge, captivated by its wild laughter. As I settled onto the cool, mossy ground, I noticed something glittering just beneath the surface of the water. Curiously, I leaned closer to catch a glimpse. It was a small crystal, refracting light into a spectrum of colors that danced across the water's surface, illuminating my face and spirit. It felt like a sign, a glimmer of deeper knowing waiting to be unearthed. Feeling compelled, I gently reached into the stream and plucked the crystal from its watery cradle. An electric pulse surged through me as I held it, and I closed my eyes, allowing my senses to ground me. I could feel the energy of the forest, the hum of life all around me, pulsating through the crystal like ancient wisdom seeking release. That sacred moment, a memory unfurled, a long-forgotten dream of mine, one I had shoved aside amidst the mundane routines of life. I remembered a time when I yearned to create, to paint stories in vibrant colors that could awaken the hearts of others. But fear had silenced my voice, and self-doubt had cast a shadow over my canvas. Emotion bubbled up within me, entwined with longing and regret, yet it was mixed with a flicker of hope. I opened my eyes to the sun-soaked world, invigorated by the understanding that I held the key to my own abundance, that there was an artistic flame within me that could not be extinguished. Perhaps this crystal was more than just an object, it was a talisman, a reminder that creativity was an integral part of my being, one that demanded to be expressed without fear. As I stood, the crystal cradled in my palm, I heard a rustle in the bushes beside the stream. A majestic deer emerged, its coat a tapestry of earthy tones, the embodiment of grace and silence. It locked eyes with me, and in that exchange, I felt as if it were inviting me into a deeper communion with nature and myself. What wisdom does this creature carry? I pondered. What lessons lie hidden within its calm demeanor? The deer stepped softly closer, then turned and began to move away, testing my willingness to follow. I found myself enchanted, my spirit awakened by the courage to step into the unknown. I followed the deer as it navigated the forest, weaving through trees that whispered secrets only the wind could understand. As we walked, an array of natural wonders revealed themselves, flowers with unearthly hues, trees adorned with symbols carved by time, and patches of sunlight illuminating small creatures at play. The connection around me deepened. I felt the call of the interconnectedness of all beings, one heart beating in unison with the forests, streams, and skies. Eventually, the deer paused at the edge of a clearing, the air filled with the rich scent of wild herbs. As I stood beside it, my intuition whispered prophecies of abundance, the cyclical dance between creation and destruction, the harvest of insights gathered from both soaring joy and grave sorrow. The realization enveloped me, every thread of experience I collected formed the nurturing soil for the beauty I wished to cultivate in my life. Yet as I contemplated the road ahead, my mind stirred with unanswered questions, lingering like the afterglow of sunset. Would I dare to unleash my creativity upon the canvas of life? Would I trust the universe to guide my brushstrokes, even amidst uncertainty? And was it possible to embrace joy while accepting the sorrow that life often brings? Knowing that these mysteries were essential parts of my journey, I breathed deeply, gathering the essence of the forest around me. I could feel the pulse of abundance, not just waiting to be unlocked, but already flowing through me, waiting for recognition and expression. The path of exploration lay before me, shimmering with infinite possibilities, begging to be traversed. With the sun casting golden rays through the leaves, I found myself entranced by the beauty of the clearing. It was a sanctuary, a threshold where the ordinary met the extraordinary, and I knew that something profound awaited in this untouched space. The deer stood beside me, its demeanor calm and confident, as if it were both a guardian of the secrets and a guide to the next chapter of my journey. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the sounds of the forest envelop me, tweets of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the whispers of the wind speaking ancient truths. I breathed deeply, inviting in the essence of the wild. In that stillness, a thought skimmed through my mind, a fleeting recognition. True abundance did not merely lie in what I could create but also in unearthing the layers of existence that surrounded me. Suddenly, the serene atmosphere shifted. A gentle but deliberate breeze picked up, carrying with it a soft, melodic hum that seemed to pulse from the earth itself. Curiosity ignited within me, and I opened my eyes to find the deer gazing intently at a large stone embedded in the ground at the edge of the clearing. The stone was unlike any I had ever seen, its surface shimmered as if woven into a fabric of galaxies. Feeling an irresistible pull, I approached the stone with cautious reverence. As my fingertips grazed its surface, the sound intensified, becoming a harmonious chant that resonated with something deep within my being. It was a language of the heart, rich with parallels of vulnerability and strength, loss and creation, a reminder that each moment offered a choice to acknowledge the abundance in both joy and grief. In my mind's eye, visions surfaced, swirling with clarity, moments from my past where I had buried my creativity, where I had denied the abundance of love, expression, and experience. Each vision pointed back to pivotal times when fear overshadowed my passion, anchoring me in tension between the safety of comfort and the thrilling chaos of artistic expression. Before I could linger too long in that contemplation, the deer softly jostled me back to the present. It then nudged the shimmering stone with its muzzle before moving a few steps back, as if inviting me to engage further. I knelt before the stone, feeling an electric haze surrounding it. In unison, my heart quickened as whispers of intention swirled around me. "What secrets do you hold?" I murmured, as if the stone carried the collective wisdom of countless souls who had sought connection and understanding. In response, I felt a rush of warmth coursing through me, igniting my own latent creativity. The energies converged, manifesting into a single question that echoed through the silence: "What fears lie upon your canvas?" It enveloped me, a contemplative probe that urged me to confront the shadows lurking at the edges of my consciousness. Was it not fear that had held me back? But in the depths of that fear was a yearning, a hollow place begging to be filled with the vibrancy of my authentic self. Suddenly, the moment swirled into a vivid revelation, an image of myself, paintbrush in hand, splashing colors and emotions freely onto an expansive canvas. The joy of creation ignited a fire deep within me, yet tinged with a soft ache of remembering all those years I had let doubt silence my voice. Time stood still as I wrestled with the intertwining feelings of exhilaration and trepidation. As if sensing my turmoil, the deer stepped closer once more, its gaze urging me to ponder beyond my individual experience. The challenges we face, it seemed to convey, are not solely ours, they echo through generations and unite us in the shared tapestry of existence. My heart swelled with a new understanding. Perhaps the key to unlocking my hidden abundance lay not only in daring to create but also in courageously sharing my truth, embracing the light of my voice, adorned with the shadows of my past. The interconnectedness of all beings came alive in that moment, sparking the realization that every story told, every truth uttered, contributes to the divine fabric of life itself. Yet, even as clarity dawned, a new question emerged, lingering like the sweetness of the forest air: how do I transform fear into a companion on this journey of creation, rather than a shackle that binds me? How do I practice vulnerability as a means to fully engage with the world, turning my wounds into art and my uncertainties into bridges rather than walls? With these questions echoing in my heart, I looked back at the deer, and in its eyes, I saw both the serenity of acceptance and the wildness of unbridled expression. My journey was far from over, rather, it was only beginning, a tapestry yet to be woven, full of color, texture, and life. And as I breathed in the essence of the universe swirling around me, I felt an invitation to step forward into the unknown, guided by instinct and the promise of abundance. As I stood before the shimmering stone, with my heart beating in tandem with the universe, a profound stillness enveloped me. I felt the earth beneath my feet, steady and unwavering, a reminder of the strength and resilience we all possess. Memories rushed through me like a river in flood, moments of joy that once vibrated within, overshadowed by the weight of self-doubt and the disturbing whispers of fear. The deer remained beside me, a watchful companion, and I understood in that instant that I was not alone. Life was a collective journey, and my struggles were not mine to bear in solitude. The universe's abundance radiated not only in material wealth but in the web of connections that spanned across time and space, binding us all in shared stories. We were each a color in this grand tapestry, essential to the whole. As I contemplated this revelation, I reached for the crystal once more, its energy pulsating like a heartbeat. I felt its cool surface within my palm, a nexus of potential awakening the dormant embers of creativity within me. What if creating wasn't just about expression but also about vulnerability? What if sharing my truth could ultimately serve as a bridge for others to step into their light? I breathed deeply, inhaling the fragrant scent of wild herbs around me. It was as if the forest itself was urging me to reclaim my artistry without fear, to dance upon the threshold of uncertainty and joy. No longer would I shy away from the uncertainties of life. Instead, I would greet them with an open heart, allowing my shadows to mingle with the light that I stood tall, the deer watching, acknowledging the strength I felt building within. Today, I declared, my voice steady and resolute, I choose abundance. I choose to embrace the beauty of creation, the freedom of expression, and the courage to share my journey. As if in response, a gentle breeze swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves and carrying the whispers of encouragement from the ancient trees surrounding me. The energy surged around us, connecting me with every moment that brought me to this very instance of awakening, a culmination of fears faced, dreams reignited, and abundance embraced, but still, the lingering contemplation floated in my mind like a feather on the breeze. How do I prevent myself from slipping back into silence? How do I ensure that the abundance ignited within me continues to burn brightly, even in the darkest of times? And then, in that communion with the deer and the shimmering stone, clarity unfolded like petals in the morning sun. I understood that it wasn't about achieving perfection or never faltering, it was about honoring each step of the journey with patience and compassion. It was the commitment to witness my own processes, the joy of exploration, the darkness of fear, the beauty of growth, and to allow my authentic self to emerge amid the noise of exterior expectations, that I envisioned a world not constrained by doubt but blossoming under the weight of vulnerability and grace. I felt the presence of the universe, as if it were clapping in harmony with my resolution. I pledged to create, not just for the sake of others but also to honor my own spirit, to find solace in the act of sharing my voice, regardless of how unpolished it may seem. The burdens of fear could illuminate the path toward another's hope, fostering deeper connections in the beautiful chaos of existence, and then, amid the warmth of the sun filtering through the trees, a final question sparked to life within: how do I embody this newfound understanding in the world every day? The answer shimmered through the leaves: the commitment to cultivate presence. To take each day as it comes, to practice gratitude, to honor my emotions, and to trust in the flow of life, revealing the abundance that exists in every moment. I could weave daily practices that celebrated joy, creativity, and love, nourishing the spirit not only within but also among those around me. With the deer by my side, I took a deep breath, ready to carry forth my resolution into a world alive with possibility. Each step felt lighter, embracing the magnificent uncertainties and treasures hidden within. Each heartbeat was a reminder that to exist is to create, to connect, and to thrive in the grace of all that is. As I turned back toward the path, a radiant light flickered at the edge of the forest, a manifestation of the abundance waiting to be invoked. I smiled, carrying the crystal tight against my heart, and whispered a prayer of gratitude to the universe. No longer would I doubt my worth or the journey I was on. I would embrace the adventure, with all its twists and turns, and actively participate in the grand dance of existence. And with that, I stepped forward into the brilliant unknown, knowing with every fiber of my being that abundance was not a destination but a journey, one that I was finally ready to embrace fully. In surrendering to the flow of life, I discovered this profound truth: when we let go of the need to control, we awaken to the immeasurable gifts that the universe has always offered. In the intricate dance of existence, we find that we are not separate, we are all connected, all part of the same grand design, and together we weave a tapestry bright with hope, light, and love.